In the 80s, watching a scene from your favorite action film was great, but that scene could have been the last thing that stuntman ever did. Or you were impressed from another favorite movie, wondering how the stunt performer even survived such an enormous explosive blast, when behind the scenes, he barely did and suffered major injuries. Stunt people risk it all for great footage, and if something goes wrong and there is a horrific accident, the footage is usually so good, the director keeps it in the final cut. The 80s was the golden era of action movies, keeping audiences on the edge of their seats. But the 80s also had dozens of stunt performers suffer life-altering injuries, and some lost their lives to bring action to the big screen. From explosions on set to high-speed chases, these scenes didn't go as planned. Remember, there was no CGI back then, so real people did real stunts. These stunt performers pushed their limits so much that it led to fatalities. Come check out 1980s movie stunts that went horribly wrong. At number 8, Top Gun, a real-life fatality. While Top Gun gave us adrenaline-pumping dogfights and the correct dose of action, did you know that this movie cost a life? Stunt pilot Art Scholl, a legendary aerobatic flyer, was executing an inverted flat spin when something went wrong. His last transmission was heartbreaking. "I have a problem. I have a serious problem," he said. Moments later, his plane spiraled out of control and crashed into the Pacific Ocean. Neither Scholl's body nor the wreckage was ever found. Ironically, Scholl was no amateur. He had decades of experience in aerobatics and had worked on multiple films. The accident was so devastating that the producers kept it under wraps until the film was produced. Scholl's death was a major industry wake-up call. Unlike modern CGI-assisted aerial scenes, Top Gun used real-life pilots to perform stunts at extreme speeds. The pressure to deliver stunning visuals came at a cost. Despite the film's success, this accident left a lasting mark on aviation safety in the movie industry. Hollywood has since implemented stricter guidelines for aerial sequences. The cause of the aircraft's failure has not been determined. If you like content like this as much as we do, make sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons. Now let's continue. At number 7, The Living Daylights, a stunt gone sideways. When it comes to Bond movies, everyone expects jaw-dropping stunts. Of course, The Living Daylights lived up to the hype, but not without consequences. Stunt driver Jay Fletcher was supposed to pull off a straightforward car drive-by in the movie, but it didn't go as planned. Instead of a controlled maneuver, the car went airborne and crashed into a lake at full speed. Fletcher left the scene with broken bones, a severe concussion, and a long recovery process. Unlike James Bond, stunt performers rarely walk away unscathed from their high-octane action. The accident delayed filming significantly. While Fletcher eventually recovered, he was never the same. The Living Daylights proved that precision and safety should never be underestimated. Car crashes are unpredictable. Even the best stunt drivers can veer off. Jay Fletcher didn't give up on his stunt job. He returned as a new man after healing from his injuries. The Living Daylights is remembered for its groundbreaking car chase scenes. The producers still remember the behind-the-scenes risks that almost cost them a life. Number 6. Raiders of the Lost Ark, hanging by a thread. Indiana Jones may be fearless, but that doesn't make him immune to danger. Legendary stuntman Vic Armstrong had one of the closest brushes with death while filming Raiders of the Lost Ark. During an intense chase sequence, he was supposed to dangle from a ledge before his daring escape. But guess what? As the cameras rolled, Armstrong found himself gradually slipping. With only a few seconds to react, he grabbed a protruding edge and was barely able to save himself from a deadly fall. He took a quick breather, dusted himself off, and returned to work. He later recounted that the near miss changed his approach to stunt work. Although Hollywood hailed him as a hero, the real courage lies with performers who push the limits of danger. He survived by sheer luck because it could have been worse. The Indiana Jones franchise, like James Bond, is famous for its adrenaline rush action series. Armstrong's brush with death is one of several near-fatal incidents that happened during production. Imagine enduring real risks to achieve a movie audience's love. Even director Steven Spielberg was shaken by the accident. While he was committed to delivering edge-of-the-seat action, he wanted actors to be safe. Armstrong's near fall emphasizes the thin line between action and disaster. He is still considered one of the most outstanding stunt performers of all time. Number 5. Twilight Zone, the movie helicopter tragedy. Hollywood has had several nightmares since its inception. However, the one from Twilight Zone, the movie, stands out in the 80s. In one of the most infamous on-set tragedies, actor Vic Morrow and two child actors, Micah Dinley and Renee Shin-Yi-Chen, died. During filming, a helicopter lost control and crashed at the scene. The aircraft was struck by pyrotechnics, causing it to spin out of control and decapitate Morrow and one of the kids instantly.
California, they were filming a war movie today when suddenly a helicopter carrying a camera crew crashed right in the middle of the action, killing actor Vic Morrow and two young children in the scene.
The crash sent shockwaves through Hollywood. It remains one of the darkest moments in film history. This accident resulted in multiple lawsuits and changed the way helicopters and explosives were handled on sets. Production companies and directors were forced to reevaluate safety protocols to ensure it didn't happen again. Meanwhile, director John Landis and several others were charged with involuntary manslaughter. Although later acquitted, the trial exposed many loopholes and safety failures in the industry. The families of victims fought for justice, leading to stricter child labor laws in film and tighter regulations for dangerous stunt sequences. Here's the thing. The crash happened because the producers overlooked numerous safety concerns. For instance, explosives were too close to a low-flying helicopter. This was a case of negligence and miscalculation. Number 4. The Cannonball Run, a life-altering stunt. Fast cars, big laughs, and crazy stunts.
Ready, fire!
The Cannonball Run was packed with wild car chases, but for stuntwoman Heidi Von Beltz, the action turned tragic. At 24, she was a world-class skier and actress. A day before the shoot, the Aston Martin car was serviced. Director Hal Needham took it for a test run and assured Beltz that everything was fine. But was it? While filming a high-speed chase for the Cannonball Run, the car she was riding in suffered a head-on collision. The vehicle had no seatbelt, faulty tires, and malfunctioning clutch. Von Beltz was thrown forward with immense force during the accident. The result was devastating. She was left with a broken neck that left her quadriplegic for life. Despite being a rising star in the stunt industry, Von Beltz's career abruptly ended. She later sued the production for the catastrophic injuries suffered on set. The injury was reportedly valued at $7 million. The trial became Hollywood's most significant moment in stunt safety reform. The court found the defendants liable for negligence. Von Beltz later advocated for improved safety protocols, pushing for stronger protection for stunt performers. Number 3. Police Story, Jackie Chan's brutal injuries. Jackie Chan is known for his death-defying stunts, but sometimes he takes a hit. During the filming of Police Story, Chan performed a legendary stunt that saw him sliding down a pole covered in light bulbs inside a shopping mall. This was supposed to be a controlled slide, but unknown to him, there was more to it. It turned into a disaster when the bulbs shattered, causing severe burns. To make things worse, Chan landed hard and fractured his vertebra, dislocated his pelvis, and injured his hands. Unlike most actors, Chan didn't use a stunt double. He opted to perform his risky stunts. His injury during Police Story was one of the worst in his career, but somehow he completed the scene before seeking medical attention. The stunt was so dangerous that it was almost cut from the film, but Chan insisted it remain in the film. As fate would have it, Chan continued his stunt-heavy career. His commitment and resilience made him a legend in the industry. After Police Story, he experienced several other near-fatal accidents in his career. This shows how far action heroes go to entertain their audience. Number 2. The Road Warrior, a high-speed horror. If you want heart-pounding and gritty entertainment, Mad Max is your go-to. From gritty movies to heart-pounding chases, this franchise put in its best during production. But in The Road Warrior, they took things to another level. And no, not in a good way. One of the most dangerous stunts involved a high-speed motorcycle crash. A stuntman was supposed to ride past a speeding car, but the timing was off. Instead, he collided with the vehicle and flipped through the air. He shattered his leg in that instant. As if that wasn't bad enough, director George Miller kept the real crash in the film's final cut. The horrifying moment where the stuntman is seen tumbling through the air before slamming into the ground is one of the most brutal real-life injuries ever caught on film. Although the stuntman survived, the accident was so severe that producers thought he would die. Motorcycle stunts are notoriously dangerous because they leave little room for mistakes. In most cases, a minor miscalculation can turn into a life-threatening situation. The decision to keep this accident scene in the final cut sparked controversy. The Road Warrior may be a cult classic, but behind the scenes, there was real danger. Number 1. Rambo: First Blood. Part 2. Explosive miscalculation. Stuntman Cliff Wenger Jr. was working on a high-intensity action scene when a pyrotechnic charge detonated abruptly. Instead of a controlled explosion, the blast happened beside him, causing fatal injuries. He was only 34 when the accident occurred. Some say the explosion went off early, while others said he fell down a waterfall while performing a stunt. Either way, he lost his life. He died on the spot. Sometimes movie effects, even though choreographed carefully, can have devastating effects on actors. While Rambo is an action staple and still loved by many, it is remembered for the dangers its crew faced behind the scenes. This movie was a box office hit, cementing Sylvester Stallone's role as an action superstar. This film was dedicated to Cliff Wenger Jr.'s commitment to the project. Ironically, this became the only Rambo film nominated for an Oscar. These 80s movie stunts led to avoidable deaths and near-death experiences. Did we miss any stunt gone wrong? Tell us in the comments below.